Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I'm playing for your pleasure the new Chinese premium battle rating 5.7 heavy tank at rank 4, the IS-2 number 402. And right away I wanna ask the question if this tank is actually worth considering getting or not. And for the following reasons. First of all, as a cheaper premium that in my opinion performs also better in the current environment of War Thunder, there is the T-3485 number 215. Then, if you just want to play this tank over and over again, why not just simply research the tech tree one and put a talisman on it? And then you have also an effective researcher for rank 4 and 5. And if you want to research the entire tech tree, why not just get the T62 number 545 right away? Well, first of all, I do not recommend the T62. It's just a tiring tank in a very brutal environment, and so while it can get the job done, no doubt about this, it's just not of my favorites. Then also the T-3485 is a tank that I have played so often, and sometimes I just wanna smack an enemy through the front. The Jumbo Shermans, Panthers, and for that reason the IS-2 with its mighty 122mm D25T boomstick is exactly what I need. But this comes with a lot of disadvantages. I think the tank costs way above 6,000 golden eagles, and as a premium in that aspect it's then alright. It has 1.78 RP modifier and 1.4 times 2.0 Civilian modifier, so the income is actually quite nice. And it teaches you how to play one of the most difficult tanks in War Thunder when it comes to a heavy tank, you know, a tank with an actual turret. Why is that? Well, the 122mm D25T has, with its AP rounds, roughly above 200mm of penetration, and even the HE shell is usable with 37mm of penetration, but that comes at severe costs. The gun handling is bad, the mobility is not the very best, and the armor, sometimes it helps you, most of the time you get killed anyway in one shot, because not just is the armor not super reliable and thick and just, you know, impenetrable, but the survivability of the tank itself is bad, and there is no other way around. So what is so bad about the gun handling? The most outstanding two factors are -3 degrees of gun depression and over 20-second reload, including a screw. That is not good. That is definitely not good. And yet, in this battle, I will make it work. And how this comes to be? Well, first, I'm really patient in the opening stages and don't really try my luck with my normal hyper-aggression that some consider to be stupid, which I cannot really tell them otherwise because it is stupid, but I enjoy it. But with this tank, if you survive the opening stages, you then need to get an ambush, and then you must make every shot count. So, the total statistics are the following. You have 28 rounds for the 122mm D25T. You have 14 degrees per second turret traverse, that's not really the greatest, -3 and 20 degrees of gun depression and elevation. Reload is with an expert crew, with an ace crew, fully trained, 20.8 seconds, and obviously if you then lose your commander and are then in particular down to only 2 crew members, the reload is in the vicinity of a minute or so, and that is brutal. Then the armor. Well, the hull is nicely angled in certain parts, then it's flat again, then it's angled again, then you can shot trap the tank, then the turret also at the front is 100mm of cast homogeneous armor, but then there is also this huge cupola, and from the side, while the tank has impressive side armor, somewhere between 100 and 90mm, which allows you to side scrape. In particular, really funny is the reverse side scraping. You know, sometimes you bounce shots, but most of the time you should not really rely on this. As we'll see in this battle, I was a bit lucky here and there. Then there is obviously the mobility. 46-ton tank propelled by a 520 horsepower strong engine to a maximum speed of 42 kilometers per hour forwards, which is okayish, and then 16 kilometers per hour in reverse, which is nice, really nice. So you can reverse surprisingly fast. Not quite as brutal as a Ferdinand, for instance, but you can get out of trouble if you have planned ahead. And so the horsepower to ton ratio is just above 11. So you're sluggish, you're not really that maneuverable, but you're not terribly slow. You're not a Churchill or at this battle rating a Tiger 2. So you can go to places, but it really needs a cautious gameplay. And so now we can discuss here if the tank is worth thinking about and how to play it, what the gameplay experience is. So again, as I said, you need to bring a lot of patience into the tank's gameplay right from the beginning, and then you need to find the gap in the opening. But most of the time it is better to stick with the team to bridge the 20-second reload, to repair damage, to probably then get crew back in the cab. So all those things are to be considered. Then there is also the fact that this tank doesn't really like hilly terrain. And what that really means in practice shall be shown and demonstrated right here. I get myself into an ambush position and right away I hear an enemy tank. And I hope that he doesn't hear me. The idle sound of the engine is rather silent. I know that there is an enemy tank in B, and yeah, I probably could have gunned this guy down if I would have found him right away with the binos, and then just reloaded in time before whatever tank there is would have been able to come around the corner, but not with the IS-2, not with the over 20-second reload. And sure enough, it turns out that this enemy tank is a Tiger. He didn't see me. He gives him the broadside. Easy shot, as well doable as with a T-34-85. And while I'm talking you through, I also could have reloaded by now in the T-34-85 and deleted this Tiger, but I still have half the reload to go through, and that gives this Tiger time to not just only cap, but to reposition himself, angle himself, etc., etc. And then this is really painful, whiffing the shot. And normally, that's it. The enemy would have noticed me, and this shell was whiffed through the bush, so that bush was a lie. Good for me, though. So, I cannot really escape, because there is a stone behind me, a rock. And now I have to endure this. My armor, for a change, absorbs the shot, and this shot into the turret ring could have been done again by the T-34-85. Which would have killed this Tiger multiple times over by now. So you can see where this is going. This is a satisfying gun to use. It feels mighty, it is good. But then everything around it, reload, gun handling, ammunition capacity, etc., that is not good. But when it works, it's again fine. And so this is where I cannot really say outright that this tank is bad, it's trash, it's useless. Because it isn't. And so I think that the combination of the T-34-85 and the IS-2 in your lineup is very much usable and great. And with that having said, they just do what the other tank cannot really do. So the T-34 is a great flanker, it's a great brawling machine, it has a very reliable 85mm, but versus some targets, especially in an up tier, it has some difficulties where then you need this big boomstick. But I have to really clarify here, to get up-tiered into 6.7 is no joke. You have to face stabilizers, APDS, autoloaders, heat-FS, HESH, and also tanks with significant armor that, in the case of especially the German tanks like the Tiger 2 and also the Ferdinand, give you a real trouble. And so then you have to flank in the first place, where then again the T-34-85 is just better. And so now I have gone finally into the position that I wanted to get into all the time. And it only took me like, what, 9 minutes. Because from here I can protect B. I'm in a perfect ambush spot, and I can give easy side shots into the enemy tanks, whatever might come around. And I also can get into cover. So again, the question is, I could do the same with the T-34-85. Yes, I could. That's the point of the video. So there is no specific place where I say this tank is all that you need. And if you look into the at the footage right now, due to the lack of mobility, gun depression, and also reload, that Dicke could escape by driving through the open, despite me just made the previous shot count. So, yeah, that not just gets you killed very often, it denies you flat out kills. And I think it denies you more kills that you would have gotten with the T-3485 than you would not have gotten with the T-3485 that you would have gotten then with the IS-2, if you know what I'm talking about. Don't get me wrong, I think that this tank has charm, it has style, I love the look of it, and I had fun in this tank, but I also had a little bit of a frustrating time when then the tank's performance was just not right there to compete with the meta. You know, claustrophobically small maps, brawling, short-range engagements. And then I have to really say this, so many up tiers. So many up tiers. And again, 3 degrees of gun depression. I am more or less on the flat horizontal planar level, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just looking around, and with the shot of mudguards, I have to say that this looks rather unique. Haven't seen that very often. So I'm just looking around. The match is almost over. And again, I'm just waiting. Now there are no enemies left. I have gotten myself into this nice position, and watch this. Oh, I thought that this would be enough, but it's only 3 degrees of gun depression. That tree stops me dead, and that was pure luck that he whiffed his shot. He should have killed me right there. But now watch this. I hear another tank, but I have to go through a really long reload. If this guy would have noticed me right there, yeah, it all would have been over. But it's the great ambush position, and I shut down my engine, as you can see. And sure enough, easy. I never doubted it. I never doubted it. And we get back the engine. So that's already an impressive amount of kills, and I hear another tank. And again, I'm not reloaded yet. Come on, come on, come on. Where is it? Match is about to end, but I want this kill. What should I do? Okay, let's push him. And just look at how long it takes me to get the gun on target. Gun elevation speed 4 degrees per second. Let's make sure this one counts for 9 kills. So sadly, I couldn't really demonstrate how much civil lines you would get with the capturing process, but those were 9 clean kills. And sure enough, let's have a look at the post-battle results, because now with 9 kills, you should get an adequate amount of civil lines and RP. And in fact, yes we do. We get 127,500 civil lines and 15.4 thousand RP, together with 2 epic awards, and I think that this is really cool. So 15% of our total civil line income went down to the achievements, including Survivor and Heavy Metal Hero. As a final verdict, I only can say the stats indicate here not a really great tank, but it's down to your personal preference. You can obviously make it work. What personally destroys this tank a little bit for me is the constant up tier into 6.7. That really hurts. And with having said this, that's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if it did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.